Good morning. Let's kick off the week with a fun one. I want to talk about electric bin lorries. We're in Nottingham for this, actually. I've got 3 articles. One of them is from recently, just over the weekend. But in order to get the full context of that, we must go time travelling back to 2021. So come with me to March 2021, where Nottingham City Council reveals new names for the world first electric bin lorries. Look at the photo. They're super happy. It says, "I'm plugged in" down the side of the bin lorry. They're all stoked with their new electric bin lorries. And they're named by the public as Binderella and Trash Gordon. The lorries have been on the streets of Nottingham since before Christmas 2020 and are expected to save the taxpayer £32,000 a year in running costs and reduce carbon dioxide emissions in the city by 52 tonnes a year, the equivalent of 2,000 trees. They're so excited in this first article. They can't wait. They're the first ones off the production line, which is a big deal for the city, and it reaffirms Nottingham's place as a leader in putting innovative electric vehicles into operation. They add to our award-winning fleet of zero-emission vehicles, which already include the first fully electric sweepers, cage tippers and minibuses to be run by a local authority in the UK. The vehicles, manufactured by original equipment manufacturer Dennis Eagle and supplied by Turgberg Matek UK, have replaced diesel equivalents to help empty household bins across Nottingham. So they basically claim they're gonna save 360 kilos of CO2 each day. Excellent. That's article number 1. We're excited. Let's go to article number 2. This is 3 years later, 15th of September 2023. Charging faults on Nottingham's electric bin lorries partly to blame for 11,000 missed collections. All of that excitement about Binderella and Trash Gordon has been sadly lost in 3 years. Staffing issues have also been blamed for thousands of bins being missed. Nottingham's electric bin lorries have been affected by charging issues after 11,000 collections in the city were missed in just 3 months. Wow. In just 3 months. Several of the lorries were unavailable at some points in May due to the charging problems, which Nottingham City Council says has now been resolved. The electric bin lorries have been affected by charging issues. Data for the current financial year, which began in April, shows 11,675 bin collections missed up until July, as well as low staffing numbers for the period. Charging issues with the fleet of 13 bin lorries have now been confirmed as one of the reasons why the bins were being missed. An email seen by Nottinghamshire Live towards the end of May from the council's Waste Services Department says 5 electric vehicles were off the road at some point that month due to connection issues. Problems meant the council's waste teams had to catch up on missed work, as well as completing their routine collection rounds. Do you remember all of that excitement that we had in the first article? We were so stoked to be the first place to be using electric bin lorries, and it all fell apart quite quickly. Independent councillor Andrew Rule, one of those representing Clifton West, said, "It's not as bad as it was over the summer, but rarely a week goes by where you don't get contacted by a couple of people saying their bins have been missed." The first 2 lorries were the subject of a public naming competition, we know, Trash Gordon and Binderella, claiming they'd save £32,000 a year in running costs. The vehicle's power and manoeuvrability means they're finishing around an hour earlier and are able to handle hills with loads much better than their diesel counterparts. The team love them and don't want to go back to diesel. That's article number 2. And then let's come right up to date with the most recent article over the weekend. This was from the 6th of September 2025. Nottingham City Council's costly electric bin lorries may not have demonstrated good value. In December 2020, Nottingham City rolled out 2 electric bin lorries in what was described as a world first, as we know, because we just went through that. A senior Nottingham councillor says lessons have been learned after the purchase of the electric bin lorries, which have not demonstrated good value for taxpayers. The Labour-led council said it expected the vehicles, come on, my teeth in today, would save £32,000 a year in running costs and reduce carbon dioxide by 52 tonnes a year. The authority now owns 20, but a senior councillor has admitted the council should have waited before adopting the new technology. A Freedom of Information request from 2024 shows that the council spent £8.7 million on these 20 bin lorries. Not very good at maths, but that's a lot per bin lorry. And they've encountered a series of problems since their adoption, including charging faults, which led to reliability problems on the road, capacity concerns, and range problems when collecting garden waste. The councillor says we were the first adopters of first generation electric refuse vehicles. Those vehicles are very, very heavy. They have to be plugged in all night. And if a plug slightly comes undone, then the vehicle does not work for as long as it needs to the next day. If we'd been able to see into the future, or had listened to people that have been making YouTube videos about electric vehicles, if we'd been able to see into the future, we would have thought, let's hold fire and make sure these vehicles do have the reliability factor going forward. Ken France, the council's head of fleet, said the authority was now looking at running its larger, heavier diesel vehicles on hydro-treated vegetable oil, HVO, fuel. He said the bin lorry cost £560,000, weighs 26 tonnes and has a 12-tonne capacity, while the diesel one costs less than half as much, is 32 tonnes and has a 20-tonne capacity. Wow, half the price for more payload. It's astonishing they ever signed off on it in the first place. Running the diesel vehicles on HVO is the single most cost-effective approach to carbon reduction. Electric has reduced capacity on the back. It costs us twice as much. And because the cost of electricity has gone up with inflation over the last 6 years, it's equivalent to diesel now. So there are no savings with an electric vehicle. If we implement a diesel vehicle with the hydrogenated vegetable oil, you get the equivalent carbon reduction while saving the council a significant amount of capital. £250,000 per truck is the saving. He said the electric bin lorry does not represent best value for the council because the maintenance and running costs even themselves out. From a cost perspective, I would replace a diesel van for an electric van. I wouldn't even hesitate. He said, on a HGV, I wouldn't even look at electric unless we got a load of grant funding from the government. We should be looking at diesel with HVO because that is the best choice. There you go. Admitted in black and white, the only time that electric works is with massive amounts of government grant funding, which is taxpayer money, which is your money, my money, our money, paying to subsidise something that is twice as much to buy and doesn't work. Excellent. The comments came after data published in 2023 revealed that there were 11,500 missed bin collections. Speaking to the local Democracy Reporting Service after the meeting, the councillor said, it appears the purchase of the electric bin lorries may not have demonstrated value for council taxpayers due to the price premium between electric and diesel fleets and the lower capacity and range of electric vehicles compared with their diesel counterparts. Let me translate that. We spent twice as much money for something that was half as good. It's nevertheless encouraging that officers have found a workaround in converting the existing diesel vehicles to run on vegetable oil, reducing emissions, which shows that at least in this area the council is not pursuing CN28 at any cost. The gift that is net zero keeps on giving. It costs twice as much and it works half as hard. There you go. Excellent. Hey, the van works quite well for a studio, doesn't it? I'm going to film an auction video in here later on. And then in the evening, it can twilight for Mrs. G's new OnlyFans channel because the YouTube pay rates have dropped so low. I posted a YouTube short the other day of me moaning about traffic, and I thought it would get like 5,000 views, 10,000 views, which is about normal for a Geoff Buys Cars YouTube short. And as it stands this morning, it's done 410,000 views, and that has paid me about 37 quid. So yeah, something's going on with the economy in that the YouTube pay rates are so incredibly low, but that means you get more content from your favorite content creators who are desperately trying to keep the lights on, although these lights are powered by a gigantic battery pack. There's irony in there somewhere, isn't there? What's coming up on the channel this week? I hear you say. I've got a few auction videos I've got to catch up on. Tonight at 8 p.m, you can watch us grenade the Nissan Qashqai. We drained all the oil out of it and removed the oil filter and ran it until it stopped, just to see how long that would take. Spoiler alert, video is about 13 minutes long, but it's interesting and scientific at the same time. What else? I should probably film my Volvo V70 T5, the blue one. I've got another Volvo C70 that's coming as well, a convertible that's just been MOT'd. And the motorhome, not this one, the motorhome is having all new rear brakes, and it's having some work done on the cooling system, and then it's going to have some carpet fitted, some extra bits of storage needs to go in, some shelving and stuff, and then we're off. Not yet, but we will at some point eventually do our maiden voyage in the motorhome, which has been a long time coming, but we've had a beautiful summer in the UK. But now that the weather's starting to turn, it's time for something different. So thank you very much for watching that video. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a great week. I hope you had a great weekend, and lots more fun content coming up. Well, all the time, basically. Cheers.